Hey, what's up, YouTube? Bill Faulkner with Faulkner Custom Rods. Long overdue video. A lot of people have been asking for gold leaf Dragonscale tutorial. So, couple of things by way of introduction. So, the Dragonscale wrap was invented by Jim Trelikas. As far as I know, that's who taught it to me. Thank you very much, Jim and Web Spinner Custom Rods. It's a awesome technique and very cool that you choose to share it with others. And even beyond the Dragonscale, the gold leaf was not Dragonscale was not invented by me. I learned it from a rod builder who goes by the handle Skrilla on the BD Outdoors forums, and I basically learned how to do it by following his instructions. And so, given that there's been a lot of interest in it, I thought I'd make a short instructional video so that you too can wrap a gold leaf Dragonscale. But first, thanks to Jim Trelikas and Skrilla from the BDOutdoors.com forums. All right, so let's talk about the materials you're going to need. So to lay out your Dragonscale, you're going to need some size D or size E regular nylon thread. You're going to want some rod building finish. I like the original FlexCoat high build formula. You're going to need the star of the show, some variegated gold leaf, and I'll list in the description links to where you can get all this stuff. You're going to need some adhesive size, which is just an adhesive specifically designed to lay down gold leaf. You're going to need an application tool. I mostly use one of these foam brushes, or I've lately been using a gold leaf applicator brush with good luck. And you're going to need some color preserver. I'm using Rod Dancer Chroma Seal. Actually, this is a PB701 MLF with a carbon skinned VSS 17 and custom carbon fiber butt grip. This is a personal rod for me to go down and fish inshore in Louisiana. One thing I wanted to point out, so I've already laid out the 8-axis Dragonscale. So if you don't know how to lay out an 8-axis Dragonscale, if you'll go to my YouTube channel and look for the Dragonscale layout tutorial video, I walk you through exactly how to get to this point with a Dragonscale wrap. One other thing to mention, in the layout video, I scribe a piece of scrap blank, and there's lots of different ways you can lay out wraps and lots of different ways you can mark the blank. One thing I do want to say though, with a really high performance, high modulus blank like this point blank, I really am reluctant to scribe or scratch the surface of the blank at all. So thanks to Mary and Wes at Palmetto Rod and Reel, I learned about this, which is a Sharpie oil-based paint pen with the, see if I can get it on camera here, extra fine point. And as you can see, rather than scribing the rod blank, I've actually written on it. It's very easy to mark precisely. It stays on really well and doesn't interact with your finish once you apply it at all. So great tip from Palmetto Rod and Reel, highly recommended. One thing to note with this particular handle configuration, I'm going to be adding my Fuji KSS ASH 17. You kind of see what it's going to look like. And so this Dragonscale is going to kind of just emerge from under the foregrip. In the event that you're using a fixed foregrip or a fixed reel seat with no foregrip or whatever, you need to glue all those components on first. So if I was going to use a fixed foregrip in front of this seat and just a normal kind of locking nut, I'd probably want to go ahead and glue that on first before I executed the under wrap. The reason why you see this Dragonscale going right up against the seat is because I'm going to add this KSS after the fact. Okay, so now that we've got the Dragonscale laid out, as we talk about in the layout video, now's the time to go through and align and get everything perfect, because once you complete the next step, you're not going to be able to go back and correct anything, right? So if we talk about the Dragonscale, the gold leaf Dragonscale sequence at a very high level, we're going to do a couple of things. We got to lay out the Dragonscale, just covered in the other video, which is what we've done to this point. We're going to go through and straighten and get it all ready. And then there's really a 3 or 4 step process. So first is put down a very light coat of finish on your Dragonscale base. Once again, this is Fuji size D. You can use D regular nylon, you can use E regular nylon. Both seem to work pretty well. I have seen a few gold leafs done over the drywall tape. I don't personally like it as much. I think the drywall tape doesn't look as symmetrical and interesting as the thread layout, but you can lay it out either way. But in any event, you're going to lay out your Dragonscale, and then you got to put on a light coat of finish. Then you're going to add adhesive size, which is adhesive specifically for the gold leaf, after your base coat of finish has dried. And then you're going to actually apply the gold leaf itself, followed by a color preserver and a coat of finish. So I'm going to walk you through all that, but that's the way the process works at a high level. So right now I've got this point blank PB701 MLF chucked up into my flex coat 200 RPM finish application motor, which is how I like to apply finish on long level sections of butt wrap. So I'm going to mix a coat of flex coat regular high build finish and apply it, and then I'll show you how it looks once we complete that step. Alright, so here you can see that I have just used regular high build flex coat, 1/4 inch flex coat rod building brush to apply finish, and I put on a very thin coat. So actually technically what I do here is put on a full coat, and then I go back and basically lift off everything I can. But if you can see, it's completely saturated. You can tell that the thread has darkened. It's one of the reasons I like a light color thread, is it's really visible while you're trying to lay out and align your Dragonscale, but then really disappears and is very neutral underneath, no matter what color you use. Orange happens to be a good color under the gold leaf, but so you're going to apply a coat of finish and basically remove as much as you can. And you see that I'm showing you the facets. You're able to very easily see the Dragonscale texture underneath, and that's what we need. Full disclosure, there's 2 ways to do this. One is to, prior to applying this coat of finish, go ahead and tie off your Dragonscale with a really neutral colored base wrap. I'd use black on both sides and go ahead and have finish over that now. Or what I found to be easier to me is to go ahead and put this coat of finish on with all my tape and everything still in place. You can't see it really well, but I stopped applying finish about right here. All the finish from here over has just wicked. It's kind of capillary action. It's sort of running up the threads like water into a sponge on both ends. So it takes a little trial and error, but essentially if you'll stop the finish a little bit short of where you need the area kind of tacked down, what this then does is, once I let this coat of finish cure completely, I'm able to go in and really easily trim the ends and wrap over it and get a really nice neat base before I put on the Dragonscale. And I'll show you those steps next. Okay, so now the light coat of finish that we put on the Dragonscale has had time to cure. I trimmed off the edges at a angle and wrapped over it with, in this case, just black, but you can use any kind of dark color that matches the base color of your blank. I don't really need to hold it down. The finish is holding it down. It's really just more creating a transition. And so now we're going to apply the size. And again, all the size is adhesive size that creates a real sticky surface to apply the gold leaf to. Different products have different instructions. This particular product, you apply, and once it is dry, it is clear. It goes on milky white, almost like color preserver, and once it's clear, it's time to apply the gold leaf. We don't want to apply this really heavily. We want to make sure we cover all surfaces, but more is not necessarily better. So just a real even coat that covers everything, and when it's dry, we will begin to apply our gold leaf. So I'm just applying an even coat of this size. You don't want to leave, as the instructions say, you don't want to leave puddles. So you want to get it wet, but you don't want to use too much. And I'm applying it under power, but once I finish here, we're going to stop and give it a look, see how it turned out, make sure we covered everything. All right. See, it's just making sure I've got an even coating. Wants to kind of pull up in the diamonds, that's okay. Making sure there's no spots not covered. So to keep it from running, I'm actually gonna now put it in a drying motor, same as I would a coat of finish, and let it dry. Instructions for different products vary. For this one, it says as soon as it's clear and no longer milky white, that it's ready to go. So usually takes 20 to 30 minutes, but we'll watch it, and when it's ready, we'll video the next step. So a word about the gold leaf. Jim Treleke's always says, you know, the Dragonscale is a technique, it's not a specific wrap, and it's really the same thing with this version of it. So here you see a different variegated gold leaf that's much more red and has a different pattern, right? Here you see some blue leaf. It's not actually gold leaf. I think it's imitation silver leaf, but you see that without finish, and then you see how it looks under a first coat of finish. It's pretty dazzling. And obviously this is a shallow coat of finish and not perfect and not done yet. But my point is just, there's lots of different colors of this stuff out there. There's other materials that you can use. This is actually leaf, which comes in sheets, but there's flakes, there's powders, there's all kinds of things. So all that is to just say that do think of it as a technique, not necessarily a specific wrap, and I would encourage you to source and experiment with other products besides just the gold leaf you see me using.